Sow the seed of kindness, and you shall have a harvest of peace. Once upon a time, there lived a beggar who day after day sat on the dusty streets to ask for alms and rice from passers-by. Life on the streets was tough, but he was resolute to live the life of a normal person, and thus he began to save the food he gathered. He did this for years. One day, the beggar decided to check on his collection. He was astonished and said, "Oh no, how can there be so little left?" One night, he sneakily hid in a corner of the room to see who was the culprit who stole his food. A large rat appeared at midnight, and everything became clear. The beggar was furious. He shouted, "There is so much food at a rich person's house. Why do you have to eat the food of a beggar?" He was astounded when he heard the rat's reply, "You are destined to be deprived of food all your life." The beggar then asked the rat why. It replied, "I don't know. Ask the Buddha." Bewildered, disgruntled, and hurt, the beggar made up his mind to visit the Buddha to ask about his terrible fate. He set off the next day and begged for food along the way. As night fell, he saw a family. He knocked on the door, and the housekeeper answered. "What's the matter?" The beggar replied, "Good day. Can I have something to eat?" Coincidentally, the landlord came out for a look and asked, "It is late. Why are you still out?" The beggar explained his terrible fate and exclaimed, "I must get an explanation from the Buddha." The landlord, upon hearing about his quest to find the Buddha, hurriedly said, "Come into my home." He gathered dried goods and silver and gave them to the beggar. The beggar was both happy and confused with the landlord's generous offer. The landlord then explained, "I have a 16-year-old daughter who still cannot speak. When you visit the Buddha, will you ask him why?" The beggar thought about it and decided that since he was going to visit the Buddha anyway, he agreed to help. The beggar trekked miles and scaled mountains. Along the way, he passed by a monastery and decided to enter and ask for some drinking water from an elderly monk holding a staff. As the monk passed him some water, he asked, "Where are you going?" The beggar briefly explained. The elderly monk held the staff in one hand and grasped the beggar's hand with the other. "You must help me. I have already been cultivating for over 100 years. Please help me ask the Buddha, why haven't I ascended to heaven?" The beggar looked intensely at the monk and said, "All right, I will help you to ask." The beggar then arrived at the bank of a large river and did not see a way across. His helplessness brought him to tears. "Is my life really this bitter?" All of a sudden, a large turtle appeared and asked, "Why are you crying?" The beggar told his story once again, and the turtle asked, "I have already been cultivating for 1,000 years. Please, help me ask the Buddha why I haven't flown away and become a dragon yet. Why am I still an old turtle? If you are willing, I will ferry you to the other shore." The beggar agreed. After walking for many days, he hadn't seen a trace of the Buddha and was distraught. He was getting tired and fell asleep in a daze. Just then, the Buddha appeared to him in a dream. The Buddha asked, "You have come so far. There must be something important." The beggar replied, "Yes, Lord Buddha, I have a few questions to ask." The Buddha then said, "All right, but I will only answer 3 questions." The beggar thought to himself, The turtle has been cultivating for over 1,000 years. It must have been hard. I should ask the turtle's question first. Lord Buddha, there is an old turtle who has been cultivating for over 1,000 years. Why hasn't he become a dragon? The Buddha answered, it is because it cannot let go of the shell on its back. The beggar then thought, the monk has been cultivating for over 100 years. It must have been hard. I should ask the monk's question next. Lord Buddha, the monk has been cultivating for over 100 years. Why hasn't he ascended to heaven? The Buddha answered, that is because he clings to his staff. The beggar thought again. The landlord's daughter is approaching a marriageable age and still cannot speak. It is so pitiful. I should ask the landlord's question next. Hence, he asked his third and final question. Lord Buddha, why can't the landlord's daughter speak? The Buddha answered, when she meets with her romantic partner, she will speak. After saying this, the Buddha disappeared, and the beggar woke up from his dream. The beggar exclaimed, oh no, I didn't ask my own question. Oh, forget it. I think I'll just continue to be a beggar. With that, he began his journey back. The beggar arrived at the riverbank and saw the old turtle, who urgently said, did you ask the Buddha? The beggar replied, help me cross the river and I will tell you. Once they reached the riverbank opposite, the beggar asked the turtle, is it true that you cannot bear to let go of the shell on your back? The turtle was enlightened in an instant. It took off the shell and passed it to the beggar. There are 24 luminous pearls in here. They are priceless gems, but I have no use for them anymore. Please, I would like you to have them. Thank you for your help. The turtle then transformed into a dragon and flew away. The beggar continued on his return trip with the 24 luminous pearls. Upon reaching the mountain, he met with the elderly monk, who hurriedly said, did you ask the Buddha? The beggar replied, yes. Is it true that you cannot bear to let go of your staff? The monk was enlightened in an instant. He gave the staff to the beggar, got on a cloud, and flew away. Then the beggar arrived at the landlord's doorstep. A young lady appeared and exclaimed, the man who visited the Buddha is back. The landlord was pleasantly surprised that his daughter finally spoke and decided that she should marry the beggar. Although the beggar started out with nothing and did not manage to personally ask the Buddha about his fate and destiny, all of his questions were answered through his journey. Masalu says, nothing is as effective at making us feel better about our own life than helping someone else. No matter what your situation is, there is someone else in a worse situation. It is when we decide to extend even a small kindness to others that we are able to feel hope. Life is like an echo. What goes around comes around. Those who love others will be loved. Those who respect others will be respected. We must remember that what we give is what we receive. Be generous with your time, your gifts, your talents, your money, and your love, as that will definitely change your life. Once you live by the Dharma, you are walking the path of light. Once you sow the seed of kindness, you shall have a harvest of peace. Together with a heart of compassion, you become the architect of your own fate and destiny.